Hello there, very good evening. This is the weekend edition of Primetime News on TV1 for the Newsfirst, where the people come first. I'm Martin Satyanesan. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for this evening. Samagi Vanitha Balawegya holds inaugural rally in Kandy. New Alliance holds Colombo District rally in Hyde Park. Partly meets President at Sirikota. Says national consensus is essential to address Sri Lanka's challenge. SLFP Women's Front appointments postponed over disagreement. No Indians turn up at Kacha St. Anthony's Church feast.
When's the election?
When's the election? While this year is slated for elections, discussions are ongoing regarding which ones will be held. Today's politically significant meetings and rallies also focused on the upcoming elections. Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa led the Kandy District Conference of Samagi Vanitha Balawegya this morning.
The Kandy District Conference of the Samagi Vanitha Balawegya was held today under the auspices of opposition leader Sajid Premadasa. The event saw a large turnout of female representatives and party activists.
We allocated 6,000 seats for this event, and all the seats are occupied. Their presence here today reflects the immense faith placed in you. However, our nation's family is fractured, burdened by a struggling economy and essential goods taxes due to limited resources. While our people strive hard under our leadership, we pledge to end taxes on essential goods and find alternative revenue streams.
කාන්තාවන්ට මුල් තැන දෙන නිසි තැනක් නෙවෙයි සම තැනක් නෙවෙයි මුල් තැන දෙන අපේ නායක.
I believe leader Sajid Premadasa's focus on women's issues makes him a strong candidate for representing their needs. The recent legal developments in the Supreme Court involving the Rajapaksas further highlight the potential for change. Through your support, I hope to see him elected as president and deliver on his promises to improve the lives of women in our country. Best wishes to SJB and Sajid Premadasa.
මේ වෙලාවේ මම කියනවා සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මැතිතුමාට මදි සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මැතිතුමාට සමගි ජන බලවේගයට සියලු දෙනාට ජය වේවා කෙමින් මම සමගන්න බොහොම ස්තුතියි.
මේ රටේ කාන්තා පරපුරට ලබා දිය යුතු පළමු තැන හැම අතකින්ම හැම දිශාවකින්ම හැම ශේෂ්ත්‍රයකින්ම ලබා දෙන්නට මේ වසර අවසානයේ පිහිටුවන.
We pledge to prioritize the female population of this country in all aspects under the government led by the SJB, which will be established at the end of this year. We understand that 52% of our population doesn't want lectures from politicians but genuine action. Like in the past, we will uphold the Women's Convention and advocate for dedicated resolutions. We go beyond promises, committing to implement the Sandagana development project. Not just boast about a commission, we are working towards creating smart Sri Lankan women by establishing new women's development centres. Many people are trying to use the women force in our party as a political weapon. I am also a father now. I also have a daughter. As a father, my ultimate hope is that my daughter will grow up and get good education and become a virtuous, civilized, educated and intelligent citizen for the country. I know that every mother here wishes for that.
මේ හැම අම්මා කෙනෙකුගේම ප්‍රාර්ථනාවක් ඔබගේ දරුවන් ගැන තිබෙන්නේත් ඒකයි.
When's the election?
The Jaa Jan Bal Retired Tri-Forces Collective held its Kandy district meeting led by party leader Andru Kumar Disanayaka.
To uplift the country, we must organize and manage our people through a well-functioning system. Otherwise, we will have to continue the current state-centric approach. We won the war because we had a system that worked from top to bottom. By fulfilling most of these prerequisites before taking power, we can confidently address the remaining challenges once in office.
ඔක්තෝබර් 17න් පස්සේ එක දවසක් කලින් රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ ජනාධිපති ලෙස ඉන්නවා නම්
If Ranil Wickremesinghe stays even a day in power after the 17th of October, it is conspiracy. There are many people who say Ranil is smart. Our country has lost everything. This is not political restructuring. Is it similar to bringing in Kiriala's daughter instead of him? No. Nor is it anything like bringing a kin of Rajapaksa instead of him. This is collective of people who wants to uplift this country. We should bring everyone in our country under one flag like India. We should establish an accurate national policy framework. Shouldn't we think that we should be a better nation than the Western powers? In 1948, Sri Lanka received independence, and in 1949, they brought in the Citizenship Act. They abolished the voting rights and citizenship of Tamil, which they already had. Our country was held back by clinging on to outdated traditions. National dress can be a source of identity, but enforcing specific garments like shawls can restrict expression and progress. This rigid adherence to old ways stifled our community's development and thought processes. I remember Ranil Wickremesinghe in 2005 said that he will take the country back to a Parakramabahu era. That is before 1505. The world is beyond its time. Our leaders are talking about taking our country backwards. The only repeated matter that our leaders spoke about was about how great our country back then. If we put this into context, we miss the 20th century. While clinging to old ways may seem appalling, it is not the path forward for Sri Lanka. We need a renewed journey, a new era. Ideally, those responsible for our current situation would be held accountable, but we also face a significant political challenge. However, with experience, confidence, belief, and a shared goal, we can overcome this hurdle and create change.
හරනම් හිරේ ඉන්න උන අය මහනුවර ගොඩක් අය. ඒ නිසා මෙතන අපේ දේශපාලන අභියෝගයක් තියෙනවා. අත්දැකීම් තිබෙනවා. විශ්වාසය තියෙනවා නම්, ධෛර්යය තිබෙනවා නම්, මේ අභියෝග ජයග්‍රහණය කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා අධිෂ්ඨානය තියෙනවා නම් මේ වෙනස් කළ හැකියි.
When's the election?
The United National Party Kegol District Balamandala meeting was held today. UNP Kegol District Leader and Governor of Sabaragamu Province Navin Disanayaka and many frontline members attended the meeting.
The proposal presented today suggests that the United National Party leader be put forward as the common candidate for all parties in a future presidential election, ultimately becoming the country's leader. However, some believe that Ranil Wickremesinghe won't contest the presidential election and prioritizing a general election first. Is it wise to propose this now? If he doesn't participate, would our efforts in mobilizing people and setting up constituencies be in vain? We don't know which symbol we will contest from. It will be decided in the future. That's no problem. We can discuss with the political parties according to the situation and decide in which symbol to contest. There is nothing to double check. There is nothing to see if it will be done. It has been done and shown. The next 10 years should be handed over to the leader who has shown what he can do. There are enough leaders to solve political problems, but there is the only leader in this country to solve the economic problems. That is only Ranil Wickremesinghe. He knows the length and weight of these problems. If in the future the electricity bill will decrease or if the price of goods will decrease, we didn't even have $500 in our reserve, but now the number of $1 billion keep increasing by the day. So the people should decide whether they will extend support to this, regardless of politics, or bring down this journey.
තව මාස 7කින් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ජනාධිපතිවරණයක් එනවා.
There will definitely be a presidential election in 7 months. Today we can see that 2 or 3 parties are shouting that an election will not be held because they know after it's held all their bragging will be over. A presidential election will definitely be held in October 2024. Not a general election, but a presidential election. General election will come after getting the answer from the people at the presidential election. After that general election, rest of the elections will be held as per the constitution, as the people wish. Therefore, in October, we will appoint Ranil Wickremesinghe as a non-partisan political presidential candidate and take the mandate of the people through other parties and lead this country to the right path.
මේ රට හරි මාර්ගයට ගෙනියනවා.
When's the election?
The Colombo district rally of the New Alliance was held in Hyde Park today. It was held under the theme of a strong economy with a victorious journey. Ministers, MPs and former local government representatives, trade union leaders and others attended the rally.
While our country faces economic challenges, some positive trends are emerging. There must be a country for us to even do whatever we want. This is not a time to play political games. After 9/11, political parties went to the White House and met President Bush to extend their unconditional support. Today, the young and educated intellectuals of this country are demanding for such a political culture. You don't need years to build political forces. At this time, I would like to say that the country is ready to be handed over to the right group of people who will implement those policies. The central bank was bankrupt in 2022. And how about today? See the difference of those 20 months. It has changed, knowing that if we are on the right track and if we try to change these tracks, we will not be able to get it back. Remember that there are more than 50 parliamentarians who want to work honestly for the people of the country, and they have lined up today. The presidential election should be held before the 17th of October. These days we have started to assemble the people. In the New Alliance we have not only put forward a clear program, but we have started assembling the people with the necessary background to win any election. That's what we do. We made significant progress today towards advancing our nation's economy. While we've taken difficult steps, it is crucial to move forward with a program that provides tangible benefits for all citizens. Our mission is to unite all people, regardless of who they support or which leaders they follow. We are building a platform that fosters unity and inclusion. Believing a different approach is necessary, one that transcends traditional political divisions. We are committed to bringing people together for a better future. I believe a significant alliance will be formed in March, and I urge all left-wing progressive individuals in this country to unite behind it. We already have the support of many from various parties, and many more are open to joining us. I extend an invitation to all those who share our vision to join forces under this alliance.
The appointment of the office bearers for the Women's Front of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party had to be postponed today. This was owing to a disagreement that arose during the appointment process. The group of Sri Lanka Freedom Party members gathered this morning under the chairmanship of the party chairman, former President Maithripala Sirisena, to appoint office bearers for the Women's Front of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, which was dissolved 2 months ago. SLFP spokesperson Thisara Gunasinghe said that after several names were proposed for the main positions of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party Women's Front, the party chairman Maithripala Sirisena decided to take the next steps following discussions with them. Accordingly, the appointment of the new office bearers for the Women's Front of the SLFP was postponed today.
No, it was not a discussion. The 2024 Sri Lanka Freedom Party National Women's Front vote was held today. The vote is over now. That's it. There is no other special event.
When's the election?
United Republican Front leader MP Partli Champika Ranawaka met with United National Party leader President Ranil Wickremesinghe this morning at Sirikotha, the UNP headquarters.
විශේෂයෙන්ම ආණ්ඩුව මේ මාර්තු මාසෙදී ජාත්‍යන්තර මූල්‍ය මුදලත් එක්ක එකතු වෙලා
The government's aim is to finalize a foreign debt restructuring agreement with the International Monetary Fund this March. We request them to engage in discussions with all political parties before proceeding. The initial agreement lacked details regarding debt restructuring. Moving forward, such restructuring is crucial regardless of who leads the government. A national consensus is essential to address this challenge, and we will actively engage in finding solutions. The upcoming presidential election scheduled as per the Constitution will see us present a candidate through a national alliance. We are currently in discussion with various parties to make this a reality.
රටට ඔබින සන්ධානයක් මගින් අපේක්ෂකයෙක් ඒ සඳහා ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න. ඉතින් ඒ සඳහාත් ඒ අදාළ පක්ෂ සංවිධානය එක්ක අපි සාකච්ඡා කරගෙන යනවා.
When's the election?
National Freedom Front leader MP Vimal Weerawansa declared his party's refusal to support any of the current candidates.
While the government is attempting to delay the upcoming presidential election, it must be held despite their reluctance. According to the constitution, the postponement of the election is impossible. Our progressive political groups are united and will contest in the upcoming elections. While we won't be supporting any of the current candidates, we will be fielding our own candidate to contest the election.
අපි අපේ අපේක්ෂකෙක් සමග තමයි මැතිවරණ ඉදිරිපත් වෙන්නේ.
උදයන් විරුද්ධව මේ ආත්ම කියලා තියෙනවා බැසිල් රාජපක්ෂ තමයි නැවත ආපහු එනවා කියලා පොස්ට් වැඩ පටන් ගන්නවා.
සභාවේ සිනා කියලා කියන්නේ.
A fire ripped through a house in Arachikattua, Chilov yesterday, claiming the life of a 65-year-old woman. The fire, believed to have started from an overturned oil lamp, leaves a family in mourning. Location: Arachikattua, Chilov. Time: approximately 6:45 p.m. Last evening, a fire completely destroyed a house, its roof thatched with coconut branches. An elderly couple who lived in a house after their 6 children grew older and moved out used an oil lamp since they did not have the luxury of electricity. Tragedy struck yesterday when K. Gunawati, alone in their house lit by an oil lamp, perished in a fire believed to have begun from the lamp itself. Her husband, outside at that time, was unable to save her.
මම දැක්කේ ගිනි ඇවිලෙනවා විතරයි. එතකොට ගේ භාගයක් මැවිලා මම දකින්නකොට මම ඉතින් කෑ ගහලා කට්ටියට කතා කරලා කිව්වා. කියනකොට ඇවිල්ලා බලනකොට මේ ඇවිලිලා ඉවරයි ඔක්කොම ටික ඉතින්. සම වතුර ගහලා බලනකොට ඇතුලේ කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා කියලා දැක්කා.
Newsfirst with the people.
Following reports of complications, the Ministry of Health has formed an expert committee to investigate the dialysis unit at Kurunagala Teaching Hospital. Following reports of complications in several patients who received treatment at the Kurunagala Teaching Hospital's dialysis unit for a few days, the Ministry of Health formed an expert committee to investigate the matter. As a prompt measure, the hospital's dialysis unit has been shut down. Secretary of the Health Ministry, Dr. Palita Mahipala, also conducted an observation tour at the hospital today. The expert committee, chaired by the director of the epidemiology unit, includes a hemodialysis specialist, a hematologist, and a virologist. The expert committee, chaired by the director of the epidemiology unit, includes a hemodialysis specialist, a hematologist, and a virologist.
Following reports of complications in several patients treated at the dialysis unit since January, including some fatalities, the Ministry of Health has appointed an expert committee to investigate further. Other necessary treatments for these patients are provided within the ward.
The Secretary of the Ministry of Health said that the patients who arrive at the dialysis unit are referred to Kuliyapitiya, Dambadeniya, Pulpitigama and Nikavaratiya hospitals in Kurunagala district. The Health Secretary added the staff of Kurunagala Hospital will also be referred to the respective hospitals. Dr. Palita Mahipala assures patients that transportation will be provided upon arrival at Kurunagala Teaching Hospital for those requiring transfer to alternative facilities. The Secretary of the Ministry of Health emphasizes that since this problem has arisen only in Kurunagala Hospital, there is no reason to fear for any patient who gets a service from other hospitals. The annual feast of the St. Anthony's Church in the Kacha Island, a symbol of cultural and religious unity between India and Sri Lanka, witnessed a significant drop in Indian devotees this year. This decline is attributed to the recent arrests of a group of Indian fishermen who entered the Sea of Sri Lanka illegally.
The annual feast of the St. Anthony's Church in the Kacha Island, located in the Sea of Sri Lanka, was held this morning. The feast, a symbol of cultural and religious unity between India and Sri Lanka, was held under the auspices of the Vicar General of the Diocese of Jaffna, Reverend Father J.P. Jebaratnam.
The Kacha feast witnessed a significant absence of Indian devotees this year, with only Sri Lankan devotees numbering over 3,000 attending the event. The reason for this is attributed to the ongoing tensions between Sri Lankan and Indian fishermen.
Unfortunately, Indian devotees did not attend the feast. We were saddened by their absence. We believed that this feast was not successful, but we remembered all the devotees who were expecting to come from India in our prayers. We believe that religious events should be free from any obstacles that hinder participation and hope for a future where all devotees can celebrate freely.
Why didn't the Indian devotees attend the Kacha feast? What is this crisis? On the 16th of February, 2 Indian fishermen who disregarded GPS warnings and entered Sri Lankan waters were sentenced to 6 months in prison by the Kites Court. On the 16th of February, the Kite Magistrates Court convicted 2 Indian fishermen of illegally entering the Sea of Sri Lanka using GPS equipment and sentenced them to 6 months in prison. Recently, another fisherman was convicted over the same charges. The Rameshwaram Fishermen Association said they will not participate in the Kacha feast over this issue. Fishermen from Rameshwaram staged an 8-day protest and initiated a satyagraha today. Relatives of the Indian fishermen also participated in the ongoing demonstration.
State Minister of Foreign Affairs Taraka Balasuriya attended the Raisina Dialogue 2024, India's flagship conference on geopolitics and geoeconomics that was held in New Delhi. In an interview with Indian media outlet WION on the sidelines of the event, State Minister of Foreign Affairs Taraka Balasuriya contrasted Sri Lanka's ties with India and China.
There is the China factor as well when it comes to relationship, India-Sri Lanka relationship, Sri Lanka-China relationship. Is it an act of balancing, or is India your natural ally?
When you say it's our natural ally, I think that has an implication saying another country is our enemy or something. No, it's not like that. Both countries are our friends, but in India's case, it's a civilizational link. So it is a much stronger big brother, small brother relationship with India and Sri Lanka. China is an important trading partner, but so are other countries. So if you look at most of our exports, they go to Europe and they go to the United States. They are also very important trading partners. Sri Lanka is a small country. We don't have huge international political ambitions. What we want to do is trade with all countries.
Newsfirst with the people.
State Minister of Finance Ranjit Siembalapitiya expressed views on the government's program requiring all citizens above 18 years to obtain and register their taxpayer identification number.
When the national ID cards are issued in the future, citizens over 18 will automatically receive their IDs with their taxpayer identification number pre-registered. This would streamline the process by combining both numbers into one, simplifying identification and taxation for everyone, similar to systems used in many countries around the world.
The Chariot Festival of the Sri Muthumariyamman Temple in Matale is currently underway. The festival is telecast live on Shakti TV. Moving along, the first day of the Architect 2024, the Architects' Work Lifestyle and Trade Exhibition organized by the Sri Lanka Institute of Architects got underway today.
Architect 2024 brings together the leading companies and entrepreneurs who are actively involved in various sectors with regard to construction and architecture locally and internationally. The exhibition showcases a wide range of architectural work, from residential and commercial projects to urban design and sustainable solutions. Architect 2024 is organized by the Sri Lanka Institute of Architects. The MTV Embassy Network is the official media sponsor of the event.
Shifting your attention to international news. The United States has announced more than 500 new sanctions against Russia over its invasion of Ukraine and the death of its opposition leader Alexei Navalny.
The move includes measures against Russia's main card payment system, financial and military institutions, and officials involved in Alexei Navalny's imprisonment. The EU has also announced new sanctions on access to military technology. The measures mark a week since Navalny suddenly died in an Arctic Circle jail. US President Joe Biden, who met Navalny's widow and daughter in San Francisco on Thursday, has said that there can be no doubt the Russian president was to blame for his death. The newly announced US measures also include nearly 100 firms and individuals, which will also face export restrictions. The sanctions are unlikely to have an impact on Russia's economy. Reports suggest it is already the most sanctioned country in the world, and there are very few key entities or sectors that are not already subject to US and European restrictions.
A look back at your local news. The preliminary rounds of the Sirasa TV Vasanta Kumara and Kumari 2024 competition were held today at the state-of-the-art Stein Studios in Ratmalana.
Contestants, both male and female, from across Sri Lanka arrived in hundreds for auditions of Sirasa TV Vasanta Kumara and Kumariya 2024. Today's auditions were for the Vasanta Kumariya. The event saw hundreds of contestants vying for a chance to compete in this prestigious pageant.
අභියෝග ගොඩක් තියෙයි කියලා ඉස්සරහට හිතනවා. අද නම් ලොකු අභියෝගයක් තිබුණේ නැහැ.
සිරස මාධ්‍යයක් වශයෙන් ගත්තොත් ඇත්තටම තරුණ පරපුරට අත දෙන්න ජනමාධ්‍ය ශාස්ත්‍රයේ ඇත්තටම සිරස.
රංගනයේ නිරූපණ ශාස්ත්‍රයේ මම ගොඩක් ඉස්සරහට යන කැමතියි. ඉතින් ඒකට හොඳම තැන සිරස කියලා.
එන්න ඉන්න අයට අවස්ථාවක් හදලා දෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒ ගැන ගොඩක් සතුටුයි.
The Chariot Festival of the Sri Muthamari Amman Temple in Matale is currently underway. The festival is telecast live on Shakti TV.
In the heart of Sri Lanka, the Matale town celebrates the vibrant Chariot Festival of Sri Muthamari Amman. Enshrined within the temple, adorned by a towering 108-foot gopuram. Thousands of devotees gathered for the Vasanta Mandapa Puja, a special prayer ceremony held in honor of the festival. Afterwards, the statue of Sri Muthamari Amman was mounted onto the chariot. Thousands of devotees, drawn by the spiritual significance of the Chariot Festival, attended the festival from various parts of Sri Lanka. The festival is telecast live on Shakti TV.
Sri Lanka's T20 international captain Wanindu Hasaranga has been suspended for 2 international matches after his accumulated demerit points reached 5 within a 24-month period following his latest breach of the ICC Code of Conduct. Wanindu Hasaranga was found guilty of breaching Article 2.13 of the ICC Code of Conduct for Players and Player Support Personnel, which relates to personal abuse of a player, player support personnel, umpire or match referee during an international match. Hasaranga's 5 demerit points convert to 2 suspension points, as 2 suspension points equate to a ban from 1 test or 2 ODIs or T20s. Whatever comes first for the player or player support personnel, Hasaranga stands suspended from Sri Lanka's first T20 internationals against Bangladesh next month. The incident occurred after the final match of the T20 series against Afghanistan, when Wanindu Hasaranga confronted umpire Lyndon Hannibal to criticize him over a decision in the last over of the game. The annual 61st cricket encounter between Thurston College Colombo and Isipatana College Colombo, known as the Battle of the Brothers, commenced today at the Singhali Sports Club grounds in Colombo. After winning the toss, Thurston College put Isipatana College to bat first. Isipatana College got off to a shaky start, losing their first wicket for 19 runs. Naveed Umed scored 14 runs. Taruka Shell top scored for Isipatana College with a magnificent 102 runs. Ranmit Senarath also chipped in with 20 runs, while Chanul Dinoth added 22 runs to the total. Thurston College's bowling attack was led by the impressive Vihas Devmika, who claimed 6 wickets for 74 runs. Despite wickets at regular intervals, Isipatana College managed to score 250 runs for the loss of 9 wickets before declaring their first innings. In response, batting in their first innings, Thurston College openers started cautiously, managing to score 53 runs for the loss of 1 wicket at the close of play. The second and the final day of the Battle of the Brothers is set to commence tomorrow. The Royal Turf Club in Norelia held its first race for 2024 today.
The RTC Sports Tourism Race Day got underway in Norelia this morning. The event featured 4 exciting racers. Jockey P. Vikram dominated the competition, securing both the Yes 101 trophy and Hill Rise Villa Stables trophy aboard his mount Street Cat, owned by Hasaranga and Prabha Jayaratna. Newsfirst was the official news partner, TV1 held the television rights, and Yes 101 was the official radio partner for the RTC Tourism Day race.
From that, we bring to a close this edition of Primetime News on TV1. For details of these stories and much more, simply log on to our website www.newsfirst.lk. For the News First, where the people come first, I'm Martin Satyanesan. You take care and good night.